all you action figure enthusiasts out there. JC here, and welcome to a Friday edition of TNI News. And we've got a fair amount to go over today. But before we get into the news, let's just do a real quick roll call, see who is in the house to start things off. So we've got Austin in the house. Happy Friday to you. John is here as well. Good to see you, my friend. We've got Pahala 808. Good to see you. We've got, the Mass Figure Collector. So hope you and the family are well. Same to you, my friend. And we've got Alonzo here as well. Let's rock. Ready for my Friday toy news. You're a plastic crack dealer. Anyway, keep up the great work. No problem. Let's see, Mr. Allmine is here as well. Passiano is here. Happy Joe June for you. Satisfied except for the lack of the police officer, which, will come eventually, so not to worry. Mike, good to see you, my friend. We've got Phil here. Good Friday to you, Phil. We've got, TV Party. What is up? What do I have to do to get in the house? Which house? I don't know. I'll come back on that one. Mr. Darkblade, 1980. What is up? Turtle Dave is in the house. Thank God it's Friday. Definitely with you on that one. Gray Ghost is in the house. Jay the Grind is in the house. What is up? Zim is in the house. So looks like we got a pretty packed house today. So let's just jump over into the news. So let's start off with some Marvel news. I forgot to add my screen here, so let me do that for you. All right, so let's start off with Marvel because I made a boo-boo. I screwed up. I gave you guys a wrong pre-order date for the Walmart exclusive War Machine Omega Red 2-pack. I've been telling you guys it was going up for pre-order today. I got to be honest with you. I don't know how I came about that date. And I was sitting here this morning at 10 a.m. when it was supposed to go up going, where the hell is the listing? Why isn't Walmart put it up? And of course it's Walmart. So I'm like, well, I guess they're probably just late or something. And then finally I went back to the original email that Hasbro sent out with all the information. And I looked at the date on this one and I was like, oh crap. Today is not actually the pre-order date for this. So the actual correct pre-order date for this is actually next month, July 24th at 10 a.m. So the time was right, but the date was wrong. So I don't know where I got July 27th from, where we got that from. I know from that point on when we originally posted about it at the beginning of the month, then I was just referencing what we had reported. But I don't know where we got that original date. But it was incorrect. I apologize for any inconvenience that might have caused if anyone was up at 10 a.m., sitting online at 10 a.m. waiting for that to go up for pre-order. But again, the correct pre-order date for the final Gamerverse Marvel vs. Capcom 2-pack is next month, the 24th. I believe that's going to be, the kickoff of Walmart Collector Con, which will be right around the time of San Diego Comic-Con, like we generally see with that. So this will, does look like is going to be a Walmart Collector Con item. So if this was one that you were going to want to get, and I do kind of feel like this was probably the one that people were least interested in overall, but if this is one that you were wanting to add to your collection, you got to wait about a month now. So again, I do apologize for that. In other Marvel news, I have sad news to share with you. You may have already heard, but yesterday Hasbro's Ryan Ting let everyone know on his social media that he was essentially let go from Hasbro. He put out a long statement, which, you can either read it on Marvelous News or go to his Instagram if you want to read the whole thing. I'm not going to read the whole statement. Last week, I did tell you guys that it had been publicly announced that Hasbro was laying off about 150 people. A new round of layoffs at Hasbro were coming. That was going to be about 150 people worldwide. So I'm assuming, unfortunately, Ryan ended up being one of those 150 people. As far as I know of, nobody else on the brand team that, at least the faces that you see publicly, have been laid off. I believe Dan Young, at least as of last night, looked like he was still, with Hasbro. Dwight, I don't think is going anywhere. Emily with GI Joe, so as far as I know of right now, as far as like again faces that you're probably familiar with that you see on the live stream on their fan streams and stuff, Ryan seems to be the only casualty from this latest round of layoffs. So our best wishes to him. Hopefully he lands on his feet, and bigger and brighter things are on his horizon. I think Ryan, along with Dan, have, in my view, they're not perfect in any way, but I think they get out information in general better than probably any other brand or honestly any other company. Um, I do think Ryan will be missed. That's not to say, Marvel Legends will go on, but, I've been covering this industry for 25 years. I've seen a lot of guys on these brand teams, marketing and stuff come and go over the years. So, honestly, Ryan and both Ryan and Dan have actually kind of lasted longer than most guys in these positions seem to last. Um, but again, I think Dwight, Ryan, and Dan all have done a pretty good job with the Marvel Legend line, and I think he will definitely be missed from the line. And if I hear anything more about like any additional layoffs of people that you might be familiar with, again, last week it was said that Hasbro was laying off about 150 people. They cited, the impact of tariffs was the primary reason for that. The toy industry in general, I can tell you, has been hit pretty hard over the last several months with all the tariff situation. So, Hasbro's not the only company that has done layoffs here recently. Um, but unfortunately, it's always, when somebody you get to know through these fan streams or conventions or whatever, when you hear their, it always sucks when anyone loses their job, but it's even worse when it's somebody you've gotten to know or feel connected to with the brand or whatever. So, like I say, our best wishes to Ryan, and hopefully bigger, better things are on the horizon. I've seen some people suggest that like Mattel should really maybe think about adding him to the company to help with the launch of their new DC figures next year. So yeah, I wouldn't say that's necessarily a bad idea. Mattel has had some layoffs in this year as well, so I don't know if they're actively hiring at the moment. But like I say, I definitely feel like Dan might be a good fit for DC at Mattel if they were needing people. Let's see. Anything else on the Marvel front? I think that pretty much Juggernaut, of course, went up for pre-order. That one did, in fact, go up for pre-order yesterday as advertised. $65, as I told you guys, was the price on this one. Seems to have done pretty well. See people, this one seems to be one of the more popular of these Gamerverse figures. So just based on what I've seen, numbers that I've seen, this one seems to be a pretty hot seller. It sold out on Amazon. So sold out pretty quickly on Amazon. I told you I thought Amazon would probably sell out on this one, but it is still, available at places like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. If you have not yet decided on this one, but at some point do decide. Like I said, it's not like it's completely sold out. And Amazon at some point will probably get more in. But yeah, I think we've talked about pretty much everything else on the Marvel front. Let's jump over to Transformers. Not much new on that front. Images of some kids stuff have popped up. I'm not going to really focus on that. Looks like a Transformers Macross crossover is coming. This is from Takara, but Hasbro will probably end up releasing this here in the United States at some point. It's supposed to go out for pre-order in Japan next week on July 3rd. Transformers Macross Basara Prime is this character's name. He's got a guitar. I really know nothing about it other than this image, but But again, that looks like is coming from Takara, and like I say, probably Hasbro will offer it here in the United States at some point. Probably not next week, but at some point. Nothing on Star Wars. Nothing really happened. Star Wars right now is really kind of dead. But for GI Joe, so as expected, we are getting another Hasla or another fan stream this coming Monday, the 30th, the last day of June, to close out Yojo June. It will focus on the HasLab, which I think we all pretty much know is going to be the Snowcat. And just to further that, some images from Jay Khan, who is known for grabbing these prototype images. These are, I think, leaked samples from the factory, but looks like he got a hold of the Snowcat prototype and took some pictures. He definitely wanted people to know they were his images with the watermarks. But you can see, it doesn't give us a full look at the Snowcat, but this is looking much like, the original Snowcat with the traditional ski missile and the white plastic and the lights. So, again, it doesn't give us a full picture, but it is leaning more like to me that this is going to be very reminiscent of the original Snowcat. So, but again, we will get the official details on that Monday. So, and I'm sure after the live stream or during the live stream is when the HasLab campaign will actually kick off. So they'll announce it. Usually the live stream, or usually the HasLab launches at the same time as the live streams for these things. So I suspect the campaign will launch on Monday at 11 a.m. While we're sitting there watching for all the details, and probably have a month or so to back the campaign. No idea what price is going to be, but yeah, like I say, we've only got a few more days to wait. Also, I got an email yesterday that my Cobra Rattler, last year's HasLab, has shipped. Mine should be here next Tuesday. So next Tuesday or Wednesday. Originally, I got a shipping notice from FedEx saying Tuesday, and then I got an updated shipping notice saying Wednesday. So, but mine is shipped. Now, you may recall last year I gave a Rattler away to one of you guys, Phil. So, Phil, yours has not shipped as far as I can tell. But the order for yours was placed about a week later. So, hopefully yours will be, if you're watching, Bud, hopefully yours will be shipping soon. I will send you a tracking number once I get that. But again, mine has shipped, and I am looking forward to getting my hands on it. Some people have already gotten theirs. I watched a review yesterday. I actually didn't get a chance to really watch the unboxing video from Hasbro, but I did watch somebody had a review of it. And Toy Optics looks like, I think, was the first to score a review of that one, and it looks great. One of the things I didn't realize it had was a lighting effect that the battle damage plate on the side with the bullet holes. It's got a lighting effect, so it looks like it's on fire underneath the panel. So that's really cool. I think that came out looking great. The wings fold up besides turning, so that's kind of a new thing that the original didn't have. So I'm looking forward to mine. I'm going to try and hang it back there. So so it's some type of battle pose with going up against the dragonfly is what I'm envisioning. Of course, until I actually get it in hand, I won't say for sure, but that's my general plan, is to hang it up from the ceiling back there so it can be in a dogfight with the dragonfly. All right, let's keep it to Hasbro. So we finally got the announcement for this mask. This is from the Loyal Subjects and Hasbro, but technically Loyal Subjects is the one producing this. It is a variant of the mobile defense unit. We had seen overseas listings back when this line was initially announced. They had originally listed this as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, but it turns out it's actually a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive. So this will be available for pre-order on July 1st. So on Tuesday, next Tuesday, is when it goes up for pre-order. Again, Big Bad Toy Store exclusive. The differences between this and the regular version, well, first of all, the price is different. This is going to cost you $175. So it's about $75 more than the regular version. But you get these two additional figures, which I think was originally released as some kind of obscure 2-pack in the line. Scott Tracker, Matt Tracker's son, and his robot T-Bob. So that's included with this set, along with everything else included with the regular set. This also has metallic paint and die-cast metal parts. So those are your primary differences between this version and the regular version. Again, price is also different. The regular version is $100 or $99.99, and this one is $175. So, and like I say, this version, it's not San Diego. It is Big Bad Toy Store, and pre-order goes live. I don't have a time, but so I don't know exactly what time on on Tuesday it's going to go up, but it might go up at midnight. I don't know. I don't think it'll sell out like instantly. It is limited. It is somewhat limited. Talking about price. I mean, that's a big jump in price between 100 and 175. That is a pretty big price, but I think things to consider when the pricing is, it's a more of a limited run. So that always increases price a bit because it's an exclusive. And then again, it does have die-cast parts and it has the extra figures. So, but whether it's worth it paying the extra $75 for that stuff, that's something you'll have to decide. And it does come in the same kind of classic packaging as all the other vehicles in the line. And it comes with the Matt Tracker and the other guy that the regular version comes with. So you essentially get 4 figures with the exclusive version. And some of you asked, is this the only way you're going to get Scott Tracker and T-Bob? I can't tell you definitely that those will never be released in some other way. But for now, at least for the foreseeable future, this exclusive set is the only way to get them. Also, kind of speaking of Hasbro and licenses that they've spinned off to other companies, you can also next week on July 1st, again Tuesday, expect the Playmates Toys Power Rangers stuff to start going up for pre-order, and probably will start hitting physical shelves at places like Target and Walmart around that time as well. So, but the official shelf date for the Playmates Power Ranger stuff is July 1st. McFarlane, not much on that front. Some NFL figures went up on the McFarlane store. Not really going to get the sports pick stuff. A Frostbite version of Robin from the movies has gone up at GameStop. That's the translucent. So if you have Mr. Freeze, you can make it seem like Robin gets completely frozen with this one. So again, that's a GameStop exclusive, available now. The Big Bad Toy Store black version of that McFarlane Batman is in stock. If you've been thinking about that one, again, it's in stock now. The McFarlane DC Batman Who Laughs, Night Armor, and the Merciless Dark Multiverse 2-pack that was announced at the last McFarlane Toy Show. This has already started to see release overseas. Even though during the McFarlane Toy Show, they told us this was going to be a general release, for now at least, it's looks like it's going to start out only being available at Walmart and GameStop. And this is expected to go up online on Wednesday, July 2nd. So again, it's not a gold label figure. It may eventually be available at other retailers, but for now, at least here in the United States, Walmart, and GameStop will be your primary places to get this 2-pack if you're interested. And last week, or on Monday or Wednesday, God, I'm losing track of the days. Wednesday, I told you about these DC Page Punchers, also going up for pre-order next week. On Wednesday, the Superboy and the Wonder Woman from issue number 1. There's also the Steve Trevor that is a red platinum figure that's part of this wave. So that won't likely go up for pre-order individually, but if you buy a case or if you find it in store. And then there's also a regular platinum version of the Superboy figure in the red and black. So all red and black. So you can keep an eye out for that. But again, pre-orders on those are next Wednesday. NECA has launched pre-orders for the next wave of Ben Cooper figures. These are the costume figures. This is Series A. I can't believe they've done 8 waves of this line so far or already. But this wave is going to include kids dressed up as Garfield, Alf, Pee Wee Herman, and a Predator. So these went up for pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store. They are not yet available on Entertainment Earth, but likely will go up soon. But if you've been collecting these Ben Cooper figures, and I got to be honest, like, this is a line to me that just has serious nostalgia, because I look at these and, like, I mean, I remember I never wore any of these kinds of costumes, but I do remember kids wearing them. But I'm like, why are people that interested in buying figures of kids dressed up in old Halloween costumes? But yeah, everybody has their own nostalgia buttons, and this line seems to, actually be pretty popular. So, again, new wave from NECA available for pre-order now. And I think we talked about everything else that's gone up from NECA. So let's move on. For you Masters of the Universe fans, so Mondo is teasing their 1/6 scale Manny Faces figure. So I suspect that will go up for pre-order on the Mondo website sometime next week. We've seen this on display at several conventions. So, again, we've gotten a look at this figure, but we'll get the official images probably next week. And like I say, no specific date given yet, but I suspect probably sometime next week is when we can look for this to go up for pre-order. When those details become available, of course, I'll let you guys know. We already talked about the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. One thing I did want to update you on with this, we talked about this on Wednesday, I believe, but the Origins Fright Zone officially going up for pre-order on July 1st. Definitely on the Mattel Creations website. $92 is what it looks like it's going to cost. That's at least what it's listed on the Mattel Creations website. $92 for this thing. But also, other retailers should be carrying this. So Big Bad Toy Store, I think originally this was going to go up for pre-order today, and then Mattel, changed it. But now Big Bad Toy Store is running kind of slow here. So they have it listed as coming soon. So it looks like they are definitely going to carry it. I would imagine Entertainment Earth will have it as well. So this does not appear to be. I mentioned that Mattel had, in the fine print, had said other retailers may carry this item. And I can't guarantee it'll be July 1st. It might even be July 2nd, because I think July 1st is for Club Grayskull members on Mattel Creation. So they may make other retailers wait until like July 2nd, but it will be carried by other retailers that is not a Mattel Creations exclusive. So, you can probably get cheaper shipping, like through Big Bad Toy Store, or even Entertainment Earth, since it's over $79, will give you free shipping in the United States. So, like I say, it is not a Mattel Creations exclusive. Looks pretty good. I mean, I'm not really doing Origins anymore, so this is a definite pass for me. And I never had the original playset, but overall it looks very reminiscent of that original playset from what I've seen of it. So if you're into Origins, into vintage stuff, this is definitely kind of a hefty price tag, but that's kind of par for the course these days. And like I say, that should be available at multiple retailers. I don't know how many of you collect the Jack specific Sega video game figures, but the Rue figure is currently, or at least it was this morning, available in stock on Walmart's website. That looks like maybe it's sold out now, so I guess if you didn't see it this morning, you've missed out. But it was available this morning. And I've seen some people say, those figures are pretty hard to get. So, and speaking of Jacks, this week's Target Geek-Out. So again, didn't go 100% as planned. Normally stuff's supposed to go up for pre-order at 9 in the morning, but they jumped the gun with half the stuff that went up today. Which are those Sonic Justice League crossover figures. So we've talked about these. There was a press release put out saying that they were going to be doing figures. It's based on a comic book series, Justice League and Sonic crossover comic book series. So, but it looks like Target is getting first dibs on this line. I haven't looked to see if anything is sold out. So there's a multi-pack with the 7-inch scale Darkseid figure. So Darkseid is said to be 7-inch scale. And the Sonic figures, all of which are articulated, are said to be 5 inches. So there's a multi-pack with the Darkseid, and this multi-pack is exclusive to Target. So you've got Sonic as the Flash. You also get Sonic as Batman that has a light-up chest feature. And then you get this Green Lantern, Silver. I'm not up on all my Sonic characters, but Silver is his name. And then sold separately, you can also get the Batman Flash. You can get the Green Lantern, and then you can also get Amy as Wonder Woman. Those should be available elsewhere, and those you can buy separately if you want. But again, this is a 7-inch scale Darkseid figure. I will be kind of curious to see how this compares to like McFarlane stuff. It seems to be fairly well articulated. The Sonic figures look pretty cool too if you're into like DC crossover stuff. The multi pack is $60 and is still available. And then the individual Sonic figures are $14.99 each. And if you want Amy as Rose, you do have to buy her separately. She's not included in the multi pack. So the others, you can just get the multi pack and then buy this one separately if you want all the ones that are currently released. Now I don't know if there will be any other figures released in this line. I don't know if this is it. I don't know if we'll get any other like 7-inch scale, DC comic characters in this line. Right now, these are the only details that we have, but it'd be kind of interesting to see if they do any more 7-inch DC figures. Again, these are from Jack Specific, which of course do Sonic the Hedgehog stuff. But it's definitely kind of interesting seeing that Darkseid, and it'll be interesting to see if we see any more figures released in this line at some point. So that is and there were also, besides those, there were some Funko Pop figures based on the same comic book series. Those actually went up for pre-order at 9 like they were supposed to. Again, they jumped the gun on the Jack stuff, but the Pop figures went up at 9 a.m. Again, so the Pop stuff looks like it's maybe sold out. Guess that shouldn't surprise me too much. Yeah, it looks like. So we got Tails as Cyborg, so I can see that coming as a figure. Knuckles as Superman. These again are Funko Pop figures, and these all look like have sold out. Silver again as Green Lantern. Amy as Rose. So if you ever wonder why, Funko Pops are definitely pretty popular with a lot of people. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we see Knuckles as Superman for the Jax line, Tails as Cyborg for the Jax line, and then maybe like one other 7-inch figure as well. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point. Let's see. WWE, we got, this weekend is the Contest of Champions over in Saudi Arabia. There's some question of whether that was going to go forward or not, but it is in fact going forward. We've got to kick off with some new figure reveals. So just to read down everything that they revealed today, WWE main event top picks 2026 Wave 1. It's going to have Cody Rhodes, the final boss, The Rock, of course, and Jey Uso. Legends Ultimate Edition Undertaker, that's a Target exclusive that went up last week during and sold out during the Target Geek-Out event. WWE Coliseum Collection, those are Mattel Creation exclusives. Ultimate Warrior and Honky Tonk Man. Or I'm sorry, those actually look like are going to be released on Amazon. So normally those are Mattel Creation exclusives, but again, it looks like these particular ones are going to go to Amazon. WWE Elite Collection Series 120 is going to have John Cena, John Gracie, Lola Vice, Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, and Roman Reigns. The Ultimate Edition Cody and Brandy Rhodes 2-pack, we saw that well over a month ago, so that's not really new. WWE Ultimate Edition Wave 27. Logan Paul's getting an Ultimate Edition figure already. CM Punk and Bayley. WWE Main Event Showdown 2-packs. This series 23 features CM. I'll show you the images in a minute. I just want to read down everything. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre versus Jey Uso, and final boss The Rock versus and John Cena. So, and then WWE Main Event Assortment Series 159. Wendy Chu, is that how you say her name? I'm not familiar with her. Cody Rhodes, Xavier Woods, John Cena, and Tiffany Stratton. And then finally, for the kids line, the Knuckle Cruncher Series 7, we get Dirty Dom, Stone Cold Steve Austin, LA Knight, and CM Punk. So now that I've read those off to you, I'll cycle through all the images. If you want to get better looks at them, you can head over to TNI. And Joe here has a variant. Looks like wearing like a Cookie Monster. Chu Cho. I'm butchering her name, I'm sure. The ponytails. This is the 2-pack with John Cena and the final boss, who, of course, backstabbed Cody Rhodes to kick off the current storyline with John Cena. Yet another John Cena figure. I think we've gotten like a million John Cena figures this year. Money in the Bank, Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre. Seth Rollins and CM Punk. Where CM Punk's taking, for the first time, traveling to Saudi Arabia. Previously, it said he would never go to Saudi Arabia, but now he is. Taking on Seth Rollins, or I'm sorry, John Cena this weekend. But also has had a feud going with Seth Rollins and his group, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is in the fighting for the King of the Ring against Randy Orton. Final boss here. We haven't seen him since what was it? WrestleMania? No, was it Wrestle? Whenever forget where it was that he gave the signal to Cena to backstab another Jey Uso. CM Punk Ultimate Edition. Getting a lot of CM Punk figures these days as well. Logan Paul. I don't know. The face sculpt on this seems a little off. No, that really looks like Logan Paul. Is his United States Championship belt that he lost to, what was it, LA Knight? Bailey. Bailey looks pretty good here. The Coliseum collection with classic Honky Tonk Man and Ultimate Warrior. These look pretty good. In the kids stuff with the Knuckle Crunchers, LA Knight, and the Elite Series LA Knight. And he's also been messing with Seth Rollins and his crew, Braun Breaker. Roman Reigns, we haven't seen for quite some time. Cody Rhodes, which has this pink suit variant. I don't remember him wearing a pink suit, but I'm sure at some point he did. They got brown suit and pink suit. Joe Gacy with his mask. Lola Vice. Not really familiar with Lola. Another John Cena. Which has a chase, of course, because you can't have too many John Cena figures. Main event or basic figure Cody Rhodes. Xavier Woods. Current tag team champ. Tiffany Stratton, current female champ. So that's your latest dump of WWE reveals. We'll get more at San Diego Comic-Con. Again, this weekend, tomorrow is the pay-per-view. So hopefully it'll be decent. I think that's pretty much it. Tomasi Nations has teased a Superman movie figure. So we got a preview of that. So we'll probably get more details on that next week sometime. Oh, Hot Toys, Nightfall Batman. This went up for pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store. Has light up function. Looks pretty cool. I wish the blues and the gold were a little, I don't know, sharper. But I like the light up feature of it. So that's available again at Big Bad Toy Store. I want to say it's $300. Yeah, $299.99. I thought about I don't usually do Hot Toys, but I thought about this one, but I decided to hold off. Mondo is teasing Cowboy Bebop. I told you about the teaser. Official images went out yesterday. So this is a one. This is actually a 1/8 scale figure for Cowboy Bebop, and this is supposed to go up on July 3rd. So next week on the Mondo store, limited to 1,000 pieces. So if you're into Cowboy Bebop, you might want to check that out. I don't think they gave pricing yet, so we'll get that next week. But like I say, if pre-orders on July 3rd open up on the Mondo Store website. There's one other thing I wanted to share, but and if you couldn't tell, Salome is here. If you can't hear her purring. Oh, new Simpson! Look at new Simpson figures. These are the next wave of 5-inch figures. So I don't think these have hit retail yet, but likely will soon. So this wave is going to have Grandpa, Edna, Troy McClure, Hockey Bart. So again, these are from Jack Specific. Again, these are part of the 5-inch line. These popped up on an overseas retailer, but so if you've been collecting the Jack's Simpson stuff, like I said, that likely be available soon. Also from Tomasi Nation's SH Figure Arts, we're getting new Harry Potter figures from Goblet of Fire for Snape and Harry himself. So older version of Harry plus or I say Snape, I meant Voldemort. He who will not be named. So those have not gone up for pre-order yet, but likely will soon. And then also I wanted to share from Loose Collector. They announced they're doing the Youngblood figures, with Rob Liefeld. So Shaft, we're getting an updated look at the Shaft figure, a gray unpainted prototype, gray model of that figure. Looks pretty good. So Big Bad Toy Store will eventually carry this. Probably going to cost around $80. So these aren't cheap, but again, we had seen digital renders. The other one that they're doing from Youngbloods is Shaft. Shaft and slipping my mind now. Salome is not helping. Shaft and Die Hard. And then Bloodstrike and Bloodwolf, other, not Youngbloods, but other Liefeld figures that are available now at Big Bad Toy Store. Those cost about $80, so that's why I figure or $75. So that's why I figure the Youngbloods will cost about that same price. And these are 1/12 scale figures, so as you can see in the image released this week, they do scale fairly well with Marvel Legends. All right. Well, that's all the news I have you. That brings you pretty much up to date with everything. See what you guys are saying here in the comments section. Turtle Dave says, no worries. No one's getting that War Machine Omega Red pack anyway. John from Ireland, good to see you, my friend. Mr. Allmine, sucks for Ryan and all who were left to go from Hasbro. Yeah, it's never. I can tell you that, long ago before I started these. Well, actually, I was. I've been doing this for 25 years, but before that, I worked in the banking industry, credit union technically, but I worked in loans as a loan officer, and I worked at one credit union where I ended up getting laid off because they were making budget cuts. and that's often the first thing that gets cut is employees, because they can be replaced, unfortunately. So, and I was low man on the totem pole because I was like one of the more recent hires there. So, obviously that's not the case with Ryan. Sometimes it can be salary. Sometimes it's because like you're paid a lot of money, and so I mean, again, I don't know any particulars on Ryan's case, but of why he was chosen to be let go, or as he said, his position was eliminated. Um, but I do know from personal experience that getting laid off sucks. But you know I think Ryan, again, he developed a reputation for himself in the industry, helping the Marvel Legend brand. I think he's pretty well liked in the industry. I'm sure he gained a lot of experience and knowledge working at Hasbro. So while it is, it's not the best time to be working in the toy industry these days. Um, I feel like Ryan's probably got a pretty good shot at being able to land on his feet. So, um, but yeah, it definitely sucks whenever you get laid off from that. Ryan Dole fan club sucks about Ryan. Based on his post, it sounds like Ryan was totally blindsided. See, and I don't know. Again, it was publicly announced last week that Hasbro was laying off people, and if it was publicly announced last week, I'm sure internally it was also known probably even before it became public knowledge. So, and also again, I mean, I know what you're saying about his post, because he did essentially say he wasn't necessarily expecting it, and he may have just thought his job was more secure than apparently it was. But I mean, my feeling is anybody who works, regardless of the toy company, if you're working in the toy industry right now, regardless of what toy company is, based on everything with tariffs and everything, you know, I would be in a plan for the worst, hope for the best type mode. Like, I wouldn't just guarantee, sit there and assume my job is secure no matter what. So, which generally means, you start getting your resume put together. You might, if you might become more conservative with your spending habits, things like that, saving up money for the rainy day type thing. But that it was completely 100% unexpected. Again, being it was known that the Hasbro was initiating a new round of layoffs, being everything that's been going on in the toy world this year. Um, I feel like nobody that's working in the toy industry should be just like, yeah, no way I'm going to get laid off this year. So, but again, he may have just felt his job was secure, and I don't know if anyone, I think we all think we're invaluable to any company, um, or we like to think that. So again, I can't speak to Ryan's specific circumstances, but there were definitely indicators out there that someone's job at Hasbro could be in jeopardy. Passion, unless you're designing product, you're expendable. I mean, I will tell you again, 25 years I've been, I mean, I've seen designers get laid off, at Hasbro and other companies as well. So, you know, as much as it sucks, you always have to kind of prepare for that. The toy industry can be volatile at times, and we're definitely in one of those. I would say we're definitely in one of those volatile periods for the toy industry. So, um, I like I say, my advice to anybody out there who's working in the toy industry, you know, plan for the worst, hope for the best. Terex, yes, there is a Mystic Legions reveal. I didn't touch on that, but um, they are revealing July 2nd. So, horror, Mythic Legions horror of, however you pronounce that. So those are coming next week. Now my mouse is frozen. I don't know why this mouse isn't. There we go. Figure Fury. Let's see. Hey Jay, I read your article this morning about Ryan and thought it was well written. I feel like Ryan was a huge part of Legends, has been as good as it has been, and definitely, yeah. I mean, I agree with you. Like I say, again, out of all the years I've covered this, the team on Marvel Legends, Dwight, Ryan, and Dan, they are they have done the best job of communicating. Again, they don't not perfect. There are things, as somebody reports news about this stuff where I'm like, could you just tell us this information? I've definitely had those moments, but I think they are responsive to the fandom as much as they possibly can, more so than probably any other brand currently at Hasbro. GI Joe is probably a close second, but Marvel definitely, I think, has led that charge for some time. I think they kind of, like, all the fan streams and stuff, I feel like originated with Marvel. The Marvel guys, I felt like, were kind of the pioneers of that, which other companies now, like McFarlane and Mattel and other, you've seen, in recent years start to mimic as well. So, but I feel like the Marvel Legend guys definitely kind of led the charge with that type of communication. Especially when we're talking about big companies, with a smaller company where, it's a little bit different, but with a big company, like, getting information from larger companies, I can tell you from experience, is often like pulling teeth. And, you might get news drops a couple of times a year, but, with Hasbro, they generally do fan streams and stuff once a month, at least, if not multiple times a month. So, and Ryan and Dan have played a large role. Dwight's the designer. Dwight's the guy, who's back there designing. And there are other people that we don't even see that, obviously are involved in the line as well. There's more than just the three of them, but Dwight's the designer, whereas Dan and Ryan are more on the marketing side of things. And, I think they have done a great job. So hopefully that communication, even with Ryan leaving, will continue. But I definitely feel like, there will be a bit of a slowdown, at least, on that front. And the live streams, I think the three of them had good chemistry. So, I don't know if they'll find a third person to replace Ryan for future live streams, or if it'll just be going forward Dan and Dwight, or what. But hopefully we won't. Hopefully they will continue the fan streams and on a regular basis. Hopefully we won't see a decline with that. But yeah, I think Ryan will definitely be missed. Automaton just got in. I didn't realize Ryan Ting was like, yeah, and like I said, he publicly announced it yesterday. I think he found out yesterday. So, Jay the Grind, are you talking about your Rattler? If you got your Rattler, nice. Hopefully you enjoy it. I've seen a few people like post pictures saying they got it. So, um, I wish, like, I guess they ship from California. So for me, that's coming across, like I said, mine is shipped, but unfortunately it's not going to it's not going to arrive until Tuesday or Wednesday. So, but at least it's going to get here before the 4th of July. So, because that would delay it even further. So at least it should be here before the 4th of July. Rattler unboxing was cool. And I'm looking, again, I'm still on the fence whether I'm going to get a snowcat or not, but I'm definitely looking forward to, seeing the details of it. I mean, I have no doubt it will look and be very cool. Like I said, for me personally, it's about space and whether I want to delve into polar vehicles. but I have very little doubt that like it's not going to be a cool. If you're a fan of the Snowcat, that it's not going to be cool. The grind gonna have mine battling the Hulk with the Dragonfly. Zombie, what's up? I want the new 52 Superboy version more than the classic look, especially since Mafex did a way better job and gave us the jacket. Yeah, I have the Mafex one. Actually, I have them displayed up here with my McFarlane Christopher Reeve Superman. Yeah, I don't understand the Ben Cooper. Like I said, we all have our nostalgia spots, and being I never actually wore any of those costumes, that's quite possible why they didn't appeal to me. Like I said, I was a kid when those things started coming out, so I remember other kids wearing them, but I can't say I've ever sat around going, "Gosh, I wish one day someone would make action figures of this." And there was they did those DC ones for the Ben Cooper line. Dark Side looks better than what Todd Father gave us. I really, I mean, I really am curious to see how that like articulation and everything, how it really turns out with that figure. I don't know, Buff. They have not given a date on that. I'm gonna say probably next month, but that's just a guess at this point because Hasbro has not given any date. I suppose if Hasbro gets a second, sometimes companies do get more than one turn at the Geek-Out thing, so it's possible we could get another Hasbro. My dog's barking upstairs. If you're hearing that, I don't know what he's barking at, but so it's possible it could go up sometime. I mean, that would be next month in July because the next, Target Geek Out goes through. What's the final date again? I gotta go back and look. The final July 18th is the last Friday for this Geek Out. So again, it's possible that Hasbro could get another turn. We didn't even realize Hasbro. The first day was Hasbro, and we didn't even realize that was part of Geek Out. So every one of these Geek Outs has kind of gone not so smoothly this year. So the first one was Hasbro that we didn't even realize was part of Geek Out. Then we had the McFarlane ones where the Kite Man didn't go up on time. It was late going up. Or yeah, I think that was. And the same thing last week where the Undertaker didn't go up until later in the day, and then this week the Sonic figures went up early, or the Jax ones went up early. So been a little discombobulated with the Geek Out stuff this year, but we'll see if Hasbro gets another turn. If they do, then I would imagine you know that Mystique figure will go up during that. And right now, no Marvel Legend pre-orders in the foreseeable future. The Walmart CollectorCon one, maybe the Target figure, but unless Hasbro's not doing another Marvel Legend live stream until San Diego Comic Con, which by the way, Ryan Ting is still, I believe, planning on attending Comic-Con. So if you're going this year, you'll probably run into him. I'm sure he'll hang out at the. He won't be officially working at Hasbro, but I'm sure you'll probably see him at that booth. Romy says the Mondo Cowboy Bebop looks great. When is Mondo's one? They have not given a pre-order date for those yet. I suspect sometime this summer, but they have not yet given us a date for when those will go up for pre-order. The Cowboy Bebop one is listed as 1.8. I don't know why. Normally they're 1.6. I don't know if it's because he's tall or what. I don't know, but they listed it as 1.8. Glenn, sorry man, I screwed up. I gave the wrong date. It doesn't go up until July 24th. So um, don't listen to Figure Fury. But that was my mess up. I pulled the wrong date out of my ass somehow, and so got a little longer to wait on that one. The Nerd Alert, what is up? Rooster Blue, that's a loss. He was talking about Ryan went on unparalleled. Yeah, he popped up on. He went on a few different guys' live streams. Never been on this live stream, but I actually have never even asked them to come on to a live stream. I kind of steer away from those because I figure they're not really going to give information that they don't already haven't already revealed. But yes, he definitely would take time and go on certain people's live streams. And that's something really, like, again, I've been covering this industry for 25 years. So it used to be like Hasbro policy where they wouldn't let those guys do that type of thing. In the age of social media and influencers and all that, especially during COVID, they started to loosen those restrictions, it seems, and started letting those guys, have a little more freedom to do things like that. But it used to be Hasbro is just like a general policy. Your dog is unfortunately it's not the Rattler. It could be a package from Big Bad Toy Store. I am expecting the my latest Constructicons, the 2-pack, to arrive today from Big Bad Toy Store. So it is possible that is what he was barking at. Again, unfortunately, I got to wait till next week for the damn Rattler. All right, well, we are over 4 o'clock, so I think we're going to call it a wraps for today. I think I'm coming down with a cold. My wife has a cold, and I think she may have given it to me. So, but probably we'll be back on Monday. But if not Monday, definitely Wednesday. Um, yeah, got pre-orders next week, but nothing for Marvel Legends. And like I said, I don't know when the next Marvel Legend pre-order is going to be, but it looks like we're going to get a little bit of a break, which probably most people's wallets could use the break with all the Gamerverse stuff that went up this month. Again, my apologies, but the final Gamerverse 2-pack, the Walmart Omega Red and War Machine goes up next month, not this month like I originally told you guys. July 24th, 10 a.m. Eastern time on that one. And whether we get any additional Marvel Legend pre-orders between now and that, I'm sure at least towards the end of the month after San Diego Comic-Con, we'll start picking up with Marvel Legend pre-orders. But whether we get anything more between now and then, right now I would say probably not. But we do have, again, the Fright Zone should be going up next week, and a few other things that we talked about. So do have more pre-orders coming next week, just not Marvel Legends. But you guys stay safe out there. If you're a wrestling fan, hopefully you enjoy the pay-per-view. If you have Peacock, the new WWE pay-per-view, I definitely will be checking that out tomorrow. And if I'm not back on Wednesday, then definitely on, or if I'm not back on Monday, I'll definitely be back on Wednesday. All right, guys, stay safe out there. Be good. And until next time, guys, me and Salome will catch you later. Thanks for watching today's video. Now, if you're new to the channel, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Also, hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. For all the latest action figure news, be sure to head over to ToyNewsEye.com, MarvelousNews.com, JediInsider.com, and TFormers.com. And remember, action figures are great,